When I tell people I used to be a trash man, they think it's just a catchy story. They hear the title From Trash Man to Cash Man, and they focus on the transformation, but they miss the revelation. The real power isn't in the rise, it's in the rebuilding. It's in the lessons I learned while I was knee-deep in garbage, picking up what everyone else threw away. Because here's the truth. Life's not about what you're standing in right now, it's about what you're standing for. The hidden lesson no one talks about is that success doesn't start when you get money. It starts when you master your mind. When I was riding that garbage truck, I wasn't just collecting trash, I was collecting truth. Every day I saw people throw away things that still had value, and it hit me. That's what most people do with their lives. They throw away dreams because they look dirty. They discard purpose because it's inconvenient. They toss aside opportunities because they come disguised as work. But here's the hook. Life doesn't throw away your potential, you do. And the moment you decide to stop throwing away what's valuable, that's the moment your comeback begins. I remember those early mornings, 4:30 a.m., cold, dark, heavy bags in my hands, and I'd say to myself, my situation is temporary, but my determination is permanent. I refuse to let my environment become my identity. Most people stay stuck because they confuse what they do with who they are. You might be in a low position, but that doesn't mean you're a low person. Just because you're taking out someone else's trash doesn't mean you don't have treasure inside of you. You can't judge your value based on your current circumstances. Your circumstances are just your classroom. The trash truck was my classroom, and life was teaching me humility, consistency, and excellence. Here's what I learned. You don't get out of the pit by complaining about the dirt. You get out by climbing. Every day I showed up, I gave more than I was paid for. Because excellence isn't about your environment, it's about your expectation. I was being paid like a trash man, but I worked like a businessman. I showed up on time. I delivered more than expected. I treated my job like my assignment. And eventually that mindset turned my labor into leverage. You can't go from trash man to cash man by waiting on luck. You get there by working your gift. The world will always pay more for those who operate in excellence, no matter where they start. The hidden lesson no one talks about is that wealth is never created in comfort. You can't elevate while you're making excuses. You can't prosper while you're procrastinating. I didn't go from picking up trash to picking up checks because I found a shortcut. I went because I learned to serve at a higher level. Service creates success. When you make someone else's life better, the universe has no choice but to make yours bigger. I stopped looking at trash as trash. I saw it as opportunity. The same hands that picked up garbage started writing books, building businesses, and helping others do the same. The transformation didn't start with money, it started with mindset. Here's another truth. Nobody talks about the lonely part of the journey. The part where you're grinding and nobody sees you. The part where people laugh, doubt, or criticize because they can't see what you're building. But listen, if they could see it, it wouldn't be faith. Your grind is not supposed to be glamorous. It's supposed to be gritty. Every great success story has a chapter called Nobody Believed. That's where you develop the discipline, the hunger, and the vision that money can't buy. So I tell people all the time, don't despise your small beginnings. Don't curse the season where you're carrying someone else's bags. Because if you carry it with excellence, one day people will pay you to carry wisdom. I didn't go from trash man to cash man because of luck or a miracle. I went because I said to throw away my gift, even when life treated it like garbage. The very thing that others despise became the foundation of my destiny. The trash truck taught me that the value of a man isn't measured by what he picks up. It's measured by what he refuses to put down, his vision, his belief, his grind. Your circumstances don't define your capacity, they reveal it. Most people look at where they are and assume that's the limit of what they can be, but where you are right now is not a reflection of your worth, it's a reflection of your starting point. I started as a trash man, but the trash was never my truth. It was just my training ground. The problem with most people is they let their environment convince them that their dream is too big. They look around and see limitation, so they stop looking within and seeing potential. But here's the truth. You're not a product of your position. You're a product of your perspective. And the moment your vision becomes bigger than your environment starts to shift. Here's the hook. Your current condition is not your final conclusion. The zip code you live in doesn't dictate the greatness inside you. Don't ever confuse location with limitation. Some of the greatest people in history came from the lowest places on earth. They just refused to let where they started determine where they would stay. The seed doesn't look like the tree, but the potential of the forest is already inside it. The only thing separating your current reality from your ultimate destiny is your belief in what's possible for you. When I was riding on that garbage truck, I wasn't just collecting trash, I was collecting thoughts. Every day I told myself, this may be what I'm doing, but it's not who I am. Because as long as your identity stays higher than your environment, you'll never be trapped by it. Most people stay broke because they build their identity around their circumstance. They say things like, I'm just a worker, I'm just trying to survive, I am just getting by. Every time you say I'm just, you shrink your destiny. You can't speak small and expect to live big. Your words are containers. They carry the blueprint of your belief. If you want to change your life, start by changing what you say about your life. The truth is, the difference between people who rise and people who remain isn't opportunity, it's ownership. The successful take ownership of their future even when their present doesn't make sense. They don't wait for better conditions, they create them. They understand that every challenge is a chapter in their comeback story. Your circumstances are not a prison, they're preparation. The trash man I was had to exist so the teacher, the author, and the millionaire could emerge. You can't skip the struggle. You have to grow through it. The struggle is where you develop the strength to carry success when it arrives. Too many people pray for new seasons while dishonoring the one they're in. They want elevation, but they despise their current position. But here's the hidden truth. The way you treat this level determines if you're ready for the next. If you can be excellent in what feels beneath you, you'll attract what's beyond you. Excellence in adversity is the seed of advancement. The trash can was my test, and I decided to treat it like a throne. I gave royalty effort in a regular job, and that effort opened doors that talent alone couldn't. Your greatness isn't proven by what you do when you're celebrated. It's proven by how you show up when you're overlooked. Every circumstance in your life is either an excuse or evidence. You can use it to justify your stagnation or to demonstrate your determination. The choice is yours. Your past might be painful, but it's not permanent. Your environment may have limits, but your potential doesn't. Every struggle you're facing right now is a mirror showing you what's possible when you stop settling. It's not there to break you. It's there to build you. Because pressure doesn't destroy purpose, it develops it. I learned that capacity expands only when you push against it. You don't find out how strong you are in comfort, you find it out in conflict. So don't run from your circumstances, use them. Let them teach you, stretch you, and prepare you. Because when you decide that your surroundings won't define you, they start to refine you. And the world begins to see what's been buried inside you all along. A person who refuses to be average, who refuses to stay down, who refuses to let the starting point determine the story. So don't ask life to make it easier. Ask life to make you stronger. You already have everything you need to succeed. It's just hidden inside the circumstance that feels impossible right now. Greatness isn't about being in the right place. It's about becoming the right person. The trash was my test, but purpose was my promotion. And once I understood that, I stopped asking for my situation to change. I started changing myself. Because the moment you change on the inside, everything around you starts to rise to meet your new level. Your circumstances don't define your capacity. They're simply proving you have more in you than you've ever realized. Excellence in the ordinary creates extraordinary results. That's a principle most people miss because they're too busy waiting for a big opportunity to show up before they start giving their best. But let me tell you something. The big opportunities don't come to those who wait. They come through those who work. The extraordinary is never born in the spotlight. It's formed in the shadows where no one's watching. When I was out there on that garbage truck, nobody was applauding. Nobody was taking pictures. Nobody was saying, wow, look at that man of excellence picking up trash. But I decided I wasn't going to let the lack of attention determine the level of my intention. Because when you bring excellence to the ordinary, the extraordinary becomes inevitable. The real test of greatness isn't how well you perform when people are watching. It's how you behave when nobody cares. I showed up to that job like it was a boardroom, not a back alley. I worked that trash route like it was my business because in my heart it was. I was building something inside of me long before it showed up around me. People think success comes from a breakthrough moment, but it's not a single moment. It's a collection of moments when you choose to do more than expected. Excellence is a decision, not a destination. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. It's about showing up fully, even when the task seems small. Here's the hook. Mediocrity doesn't produce miracles. If you want to live an uncommon life, you have to do common things in uncommon ways. Most people think when I get the promotion, then I'll start giving my all, but that's not how it works. You have to give your all before you're promoted, not after. Promotion isn't a reward for showing up. It's a recognition of how you've already been showing up. I wasn't promoted because someone gave me a chance. I was promoted because I gave myself to the chance I already had. Every bag of trash I lifted was practice for the weight of my destiny. The truth is, excellence is magnetic. It attracts favor, it draws opportunity, it commands respect. When you carry yourself like someone who belongs in the next level starts making room for you. I remember those days when I'd wipe my hands after a long shift and think, one day this same work ethic is going to pay me millions. That wasn't arrogance, it was awareness. I understood that how I handled this season was shaping the next one. Excellence creates momentum, and momentum creates miracles. The world doesn't pay you for what you know, it pays you for what you execute with excellence. You can have talent, education, or even connections, but if you don't operate with excellence, all that potential will stay locked inside. Excellence is what opens the door and keeps it open. It's the silent separator between those who dream of success and those who demonstrate it. You can't fake excellence. It shows up in your attitude, in your effort, in your attention to detail. Every great man or woman you admire didn't get there because they did something once. They did the right thing repeatedly, especially when it was inconvenient. People often say, I'm waiting on my big break, but your big break might already be hidden in your small assignment. The problem is, too many people despise their small beginnings. They think their job, their task, or their situation is too minor to matter. But let me tell you, everything matters. If you can't handle the little things with care, how will you handle the big ones with character? The universe doesn't promote people who are careless with small responsibilities. Excellence in small things is a rehearsal for mastery in big things. When I picked up those bags every morning, I wasn't thinking about trash, I was thinking about transformation. I was training my hands, my mind, and my spirit to operate at a higher standard than my surroundings. That's what excellence does. It teaches you to rise above your environment instead of becoming a product of it. Every time I showed up early, every time I went the extra mile, I was sending a message to the world, you can't keep me here forever. Because excellence has a voice, and it speaks louder than your resume, louder than your background, louder than your struggle. So don't underestimate the season you're in. Don't despise the tasks that seem beneath you. Every act of excellence is a seed, and those seeds never die. They multiply. While others are complaining, be the one who's creating. While they're cutting corners, be the one who's crafting quality. Because when the moment comes for elevation, you won't have to chase it. It'll recognize you. Excellence is your signature on the small things that says, I'm ready for something greater. You don't have to announce your greatness when you live it. The world can't ignore consistent excellence. It's too loud, too real, too powerful. And when you master the ordinary with excellence, you make the extraordinary your new normal. Your mindset determines your money. Let that sink in. Because before you can multiply your wealth, you have to magnify your thinking. Money doesn't come to people who want it. It comes to people who think like it. You can't live in abundance with a poverty mentality. And here's the truth. You can't out-earn your mindset. You can work harder, you can take on extra jobs, you can grind all day long, but if your mind is stuck in scarcity, your results will always shrink back to match it. I learned this the hard way when I was still working as a trash man. I thought money was the answer, but money only exposed what was already in me. The poverty wasn't in my pocket, it was in my perception. Here's the hook. Your bank account is just a mirror reflecting your belief system. If you believe you can only survive, you'll never thrive. If you believe you're not worthy of wealth, you'll subconsciously reject it even when it shows up. I've seen people pray for increase and then sabotage it because deep down, they didn't feel ready for it. You can't attract what your mindset rejects. That's why I tell people before you chase money, chase mastery. You have to master your thoughts, your words, and your self-image because how you see yourself determines what you allow yourself to receive. You can't build a millionaire lifestyle on a minimum wage mentality. When I was broke, I realized I didn't just need more money, I needed a new mind. I had to unlearn the lies that kept me bound. Lies like money is evil, rich people are greedy, or I'll never have enough. Those beliefs sound harmless, but they're chains that keep people tied to lack. The truth is mon. Why isn't evil? Money is evidence. It's evidence of the value you've created, the problems you've solved, and the impact you've made. Once I shifted from asking, how can I make more money, to how can I make more value, everything changed. Because wealth doesn't chase people who want it, it follows people who deserve it. Most people live in a mental box built by fear. They're afraid to dream big because failure looks expensive. But here's what they don't understand. The most expensive thing in life is small thinking. Every time you settle for less than you're capable of, you pay a price. Every time you let fear make your decisions, you're giving away your destiny for free. I used to think playing small kept me safe, but all it did was keep me stuck. The moment I allowed myself to think bigger, opportunities started appearing out of nowhere. It wasn't luck, it was alignment. When your mindset expands, your environment has no choice but to follow. I started to realize that rich and poor people don't live in different worlds. They live in different mentalities. The wealthy think in terms of leverage, value, and growth. The broke think in terms of time, cost, and limitation. The wealthy ask, how can I make this work for me? The broke ask, can I afford this? One question creates options, the other creates obstacles. The shift happens when you stop measuring everything by price and start measuring it by potential. I stopped asking how much something cost and started asking how much it could create. That's when money stopped being my master and became my servant. Your mindset is the thermostat of your life. It sets the temperature of your results. You can't live at 100 degrees of success with a 60-degree mindset. You have to raise your internal standard to match the level of abundance you desire. That means reading differently, thinking differently, surrounding yourself with people who stretch your vision instead of shrinking it. I had to stop hanging around people who were comfortable talking about problems and start connecting with those obsessed with possibilities. Because your circle is either your ceiling or your catapult. If everyone you're around is content with average, excellence will always feel uncomfortable to you. I remember sitting on that garbage truck one day thinking, this can't be it. And it hit me. If I kept thinking like everyone around me, I'd keep living like everyone around me. So I started feeding my mind before I fed my body. I turned my truck into a university on wheels. I listened to tapes, read books, repeated affirmations until my thoughts started to sound like wealth. I realized something powerful. If you change what you input, you'll change what you output. My mind went from surviving to strategizing. I started to see opportunity everywhere. So when people ask me what changed, I tell them it wasn't just my job, it was my judgment. I stopped seeing lack and started seeing lessons. I stopped seeing limitation and started seeing leverage, because when your thinking grows, your world grows. You don't have to chase abundance. You have to become the kind of person abundance wants to stay with. The reason many people can't hold on to money is because their mindset is still programmed for survival, not stewardship. Money will always flee the hands of someone who fears it and flow toward the hands of someone who respects it. The truth is, the wealthiest people aren't the ones with the biggest paychecks. They're the ones with the biggest perspectives. They understand that money is just a magnifier. If you're generous, it'll make you more generous. If you're fearful, it'll make you more fearful. If you're wise, it'll make you more powerful. So stop chasing the symptom. Start renewing your source. Because if you can change your mindset, you can change your money. And when your mind starts thinking like a millionaire, your life won't have a choice but to catch up. Service is the seed of success. That's not just a quote, that's a universal law. The moment you understand that wealth is created through serving, everything about your life begins to shift. I used to think success was about getting, about how much I could earn, how much I could keep, and how much I could have. But then I realized the secret that most people miss: money doesn't follow greed, it follows giving. You can't out-earn your ability to serve people at a high level. If you're not adding value to someone's life, you're subtracting from your own potential. And here's the truth. When you make yourself useful, the universe makes you value. The hook is this: if you're not serving, you're not sowing. And if you're not sowing, you're never going to reap. People pray for a harvest, but never plant the seeds of service that make that harvest possible. I learned early on that my future was connected to how well I served in my present. When I was picking up trash, I decided I was going to be the best trash man that ever lived. Not because anyone was watching, not because I was being paid more for it, but because I understood that how I did one thing would determine how I did everything. Excellence in service doesn't go unnoticed, it echoes. People may forget what you do for them, but the world never forgets the impact you make. Service is not slavery, service is strategy. It's the strategy that separates those who chase success from those who attract it. When you serve people better, you stop begging for opportunities because opportunities start begging for you. The people who rise in business, in life, in relationships, they're the ones who focus on contribution over compensation. I remember thinking one day, what if the fastest way to get what I want is to help enough people get what they want? That single shift changed everything. Because now, every time I helped someone solve a problem, I was planting a seed of prosperity. You see, most people serve with expectation. They only help when there's something in it for them. But true service is when you give without keeping score. It's when you pour out your best because it's who you are, not because of what you're getting back. And here's what's wild. When you stop keeping score, the scoreboard explodes in your favor. People who operate from pure service don't need to chase favor because favor finds them. When I served with excellence, when I gave value beyond what I was paid for, life started paying me back with opportunities I didn't even apply for. Service became my calling card. The world operates on a simple principle. Whoever gives the most value wins. You want more income? Increase your impact. You want more respect? Increase your results. You want more influence? Increase your integrity and service. The market doesn't care about how bad you want success. It cares about how much you're willing to serve success into existence. You can't demand more while delivering less. You can't pray for abundance and perform with apathy. The level of your service determines the level of your success, and nothing grows higher than the roots you plant in humility. When I stopped serving for survival and started serving from purpose, I unlocked a power I didn't even know I had. Because service does something to your soul. It keeps you grounded while you're growing. It keeps you humble while you're winning. It reminds you that success isn't about status, it's about significance. You can make a living by what you get, but you build a legacy by what you give. And legacy is what wealth really looks like. There's no such thing as sustainable success without a spirit of service behind it. You might be able to hustle your way into a paycheck, but you'll never hustle your way into purpose. The truth is, the most successful people in the world are not the ones who demand more, they're the ones who deliver more. They solve problems, they add value, they create transformation. Every product, every business, every empire that's ever lasted was built on serving people better than anyone else. I started understanding that every time I served, I was being promoted. Not by man, but by principle. The more I gave, the more I grew. The more I contributed, the more I collected. Because the law of service says what you make happen for others, God will make happen for you. If you're struggling right now, it might be because you stopped serving. You've made it about what you can get instead of what you can give. But if you flip that script, if you wake up every day and ask, how can I make someone else's life better today? Your whole world will start to expand. The people who serve with heart will always outlast those who serve with ego. The servant eventually becomes the master because service trains your heart for leadership. You can't lead what you don't love, and you can't love what you don't serve. So every time I step on a stage, write a book, or speak a word, I'm not doing it for applause. I'm doing it for impact. Because I learned that true wealth is not counted in dollars, it's counted in difference. And when you understand that, you'll never have to chase success again. Success will start chasing you. Because the one who serves with excellence will always end up standing before kings. Process before prosperity, that's a phrase most people hear, but very few truly understand. Everybody wants the promise, but almost nobody wants the process. We live in a generation that wants microwave miracles and instant elevation, but success doesn't come in seconds, it comes in seasons. The process is the preparation ground where prosperity is proven. You can't skip it, you can't rush it, and you can't fake it. The process is where you're shaped, stretched, and strengthened for what's next. And here's the truth. If you avoid the process, you forfeit the promise. The hook is simple. Every promotion is preceded by preparation. You can't pray for a harvest if you haven't been willing to till the soil. Everybody wants to win, but few are willing to work through the weight that winning requires. I remember those early mornings on that garbage truck thinking, why am I still here? Why hasn't my breakthrough come yet? And one day it hit me. The process wasn't delaying me, it was developing me. The weight I was carrying was building the muscle I'd need to hold what I was asking for. Because prosperity without preparation doesn't last. The process is what qualifies you for the blessing you're believing for. Most people misunderstand waiting. They think waiting means wasting time. But waiting is working. The process is your proving ground. It's where your discipline is tested, where your faith is refined, and where your patience is perfected. God doesn't give you what you ask for. He gives you what you're ready for. And readiness is always forged in the fire of process. You might be crying, struggling, or frustrated right now, but that doesn't mean you're being punished. It means you're being prepared. You can't handle the pressure of the promise if you haven't developed the character to carry it. The process is where your character is built stronger than your comfort. When I was still hauling trash, I wanted to quit so many times. I wanted to jump ahead to the part where I was speaking on stages and making millions. But looking back, I realized the trash truck was my training ground. It taught me humility, endurance, and consistency. I learned to show up even when I didn't feel like it. I learned to stay faithful to a vision that hadn't manifested yet. And those lessons became the foundation for every success I enjoy today. People see the prosperity, but they don't see the process that produced it. They see the crown, but not the calluses. They see the glory, but not the grind. The truth is, the process isn't meant to punish you. It's meant to prepare you. The cocoon doesn't kill the caterpillar. It equips it without the struggle. The butterfly's wings would never grow strong enough to fly. The same is true for you. The process is not the problem. It's the proof that you're on your way to something greater. Every time you feel pressure, remember that diamonds are made in it. Every time you feel heat, remember that gold is refined by it. You don't grow when life gets easier. You grow when you keep going, even when it gets harder. Too many people quit right before the process is about to produce results. They give up in the dark, not realizing that dawn is just one decision away. The process will always ask you this question: can you be faithful even when you're not being rewarded yet? Because consistency before recognition is the true test of greatness. The process asks you to show up when no one's clapping, to give your best when no one's paying attention, and to believe in yourself when no one else does. That's where the champions are made, not in comfort, but in commitment. You have to understand that the process is personal. It's tailor-made for you. What's easy for someone else might be essential for your development. You can't compare your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 30. Their process built them for their platform, and yours is building you for yours. If you rush it, you'll ruin it. The longer the process, the greater the potential. The deeper the roots, the higher the rise. Every delay has a design. Every setback has a setup hidden inside it. I used to think prosperity started when I got the check, but now I know it started when I made the choice to keep going, to trust the process, to grow through what I was going through. The process teaches you how to handle rejection without resentment, how to endure delay without despair, and how to carry responsibility without losing your peace. It's in the process that your mindset matures and your faith fortifies. Prosperity is not something you chase, it's something you become. So if you're in the middle of the grind right now, don't curse your process, cultivate it. Learn from it, lean into it. Every painful season, every difficult day, every silent stretch is shaping you into the person who can sustain the success you've been praying for. The process is your promotion in disguise. You don't grow because of what you get. You grow because of what you endure. And when you finally reach your prosperity, you'll look back and realize that the process wasn't just preparing you for the blessing, it was the blessing. Because without the process, the promise has no power. Never throw away your gift. That's the secret. Most people never learn, and it's the reason so many live far beneath their potential. You can lose your job, your money, your position, your followers, but if you still have your gift, you're not finished. Because your gift is the one thing that can't be taken from you. It can only be neglected by you. The tragedy isn't that people don't have gifts, it's that they bury them under fear, under excuses, under the opinions of others. But your gift was never meant to be buried, it was meant to be built. The world doesn't need another copy, it needs the original you. And here's the truth. If you throw away your gift, you're throwing away the very thing that was designed to open doors no man could close. The hook is simple. Your gift is the seed of your greatness. Every great life, every great legacy, every great impact begins with someone who decided to use what they had, even when it didn't look like enough. When I was out there on that garbage truck, my gift wasn't polished, my stage wasn't built, and my audience didn't exist, but my calling was already inside me. I didn't have a microphone, but I had a message. I didn't have a platform, but I had purpose. So I started where I was with what I had, and I gave it everything I could. Most people are waiting for perfect conditions to use their gift, but perfection is a myth. The only perfect time is now. You can't expect your gift to grow if you refuse to let it go to work. The problem is, too many people are comparing their gift to someone else's. They see another person's success and start doubting their own capacity. But comparison is the thief of confidence. You don't need their gift to win. You need to work your gift to win. The world doesn't pay you for what you envy. It pays you for what you execute. Every gift has a lane. And when you stay in yours, no one can compete with you. Your uniqueness is your advantage. The moment you stop trying to imitate someone else's greatness and start cultivating your own, you begin to multiply your value. I've seen so many people let life talk them out of their purpose. They tried once and failed, so they quit. They heard no one too many times, so they stopped. But rejection doesn't mean you're unqualified. It means you're being redirected. The most powerful thing you can do is keep showing up with your gift, even when no one claps, even when no one buys, even when no one believes. Because your consistency will always outlast their criticism. The gift only grows in the hands of the one who refuses to drop it. Every great success story started with someone who just kept using what they had until the world couldn't ignore it anymore. When I started speaking, I wasn't the most polished. I wasn't the most connected, but I was committed. I was committed to refining my voice, mastering my message, and serving through my gift. That commitment turned into competence, and competence turned into confidence. Most people want confidence before they start, but confidence doesn't come first. It comes from starting. You build belief through movement. The gift inside you is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. But if you hide it, it atrophies. You don't lose it overnight. You lose it through neglect. The truth is, your gift is the gateway to your freedom. It's the one thing that can transform your life without permission from anyone else. You don't need a degree to activate it. You don't need approval to express it, and you don't need validation to value it. Your gift is already enough. The question is, will you use it? Because if you don't, someone else will suffer because of what you refuse to share. There are people waiting on the other side of your obedience. People whose breakthroughs are connected to your bravery. That's why you can't afford to keep it locked up. Your gift isn't about you. It's about who you're called to serve. And here's the hard truth. Life will test your commitment to your gift. You'll have moments where it feels like it's not working, moments where you doubt if it's even worth it. But the test isn't there to take your gift away. It's there to temper it. The fire that burns you today is the same fire that forges you for tomorrow. Every obstacle you face is shaping the way your gift will shine. Diamonds don't sparkle because they avoided pressure. They sparkle because they survived it. And your gift is no different. It becomes most powerful when it's been refined by resistance. I tell people all the time, if you want to change your life, stop focusing on what you lack and start focusing on what you carry. You already have everything you need to create wealth, impact, and purpose. It's locked inside your gift. The only thing missing is your decision to use it relentlessly. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission to shine. Stop treating your gift like an option. It's your obligation. It's your assignment. The longer you hide it, the longer you delay your destiny. You were never designed to live average. You were designed to live activated. And once you stop throwing away your gift and start investing in it, nurturing it, and trusting it, everything around you begins to change, because your gift is not just what you do, it's who you are. And when you finally honor it, the world will have no choice but to do the same. So here, what I want you to hear, your current position doesn't determine your future potential. You might be in a season that feels dirty, heavy, or overlooked, but that's not your destiny. Your dream is not dead. It's just buried under the weight of your excuses. Dig it up, clean it off, and use it. Because if God could take a trash man and turn him into a cash man, he can take you from the bottom to the top. Not because of where you are, but because of what's inside of you. The hidden lesson no one talks about is this: greatness doesn't start with glamour, it starts with grit. And the moment you decide to honor your process, that's the moment your prosperity begins.